Hey guys, this is Azra here, and thank you again so much for coming back to watch along with these Bangor Netrunner regionals from the end of May. The legal data pack up to this point with Salset Island, and we now have the upper bracket top two, Ben Fox and Daryl McDowell, who neither have lost a game so far in the double elimination, and you can see down the bottom there the four remaining guys fighting through the lower bracket as well. So on the left hand side we're going to have Ben rocking his NEH, so the first time on camera we're going to get to see this. Nothing too strange or startling, it's very much biotic labour, fast advance. His influence really spent on the typical Mumba Temple, Sansan City Grids, Astro scripts, no surprise there, and biotic labours, so nothing too scary. On the flip side though, Daryl, we have seen him play earlier on in the Swiss rounds. He's back in the double elimination and he's rocking his really hyper aggressive 3-account siphon, femme fatale, DDoS, Sabled Thing, Deja Vu, sort of aggressive keyhole and account siphon max. So off we go, both guys kept their starting hands, and we're going to open up with a sweep from Ben. Really interested to see this one, how this one plays out. But if you guys are curious as we get an install, I do edit the videos and get them all prepared first hand to watch them back. But I do try and avoid watching exactly what happens during the games. I normally just quickly overlay everything and then watch them back. So I'm seeing the action kind of fresh, even though I normally know what the result's going to be. Max then is going to get 2 mils as usual, same old thing and day job, nothing too bad. Lots of money in the starting hand with, I think, what looks like 2 day jobs, and I've had worse, so good start. And a account siphon straight off the bat into the open HQ. That's going to tell Ben pretty much everything he needs to know about what type of deck Max is running. And the crucial thing to note here is there's no levy in this deck from Daryl, so he wants to really pile on the pressure early, get it onto HQ, get some ice res, and then start piling in R&D with his keyholes. Pardon me, sorry, excuse me. Straight away, Daryl may decide to float, spending his money getting rid of DBS. Definitely agree with that after an account siphon. Sansan in hand is going to get binned as well. Wow, so Daryl really packing on some super fast aggression here. And sees a biotic which he can't do anything with. Passes the turn back. So on Ben's side, I don't believe he is running any tag punishment at all. There of course isn't any damage and no closed accounts or even all seeing eyes or anything like that. So Daryl probably going to be reasonably comfortable going tag me from here on out, and he does rely on some liberated accounts and DDoSes, but nothing that I think will stay on the table too long. Does draw into, is that another account siphon in hand? It really is. Might just J job potentially in this turn. Wanton Destruction is also incredibly valid. Doesn't know what the ice over HQ is though. Yes, it's just going to day job. I think that's a pretty good play. So I think we're really going to see how well Ben can get his assets going here. He has a pretty nice hand right now. He's probably missing a bit of economy. I'm sure he'd love to see a Mumba Temple. The double shipments though could present him with a pretty nice situation and some cheap biotic labour scores. And the scores there completely blocking the archive. Sorry about that, guys. Hacktivist meeting, nice. Now, Ben, just had a quick look down his list here. He is running 15 minutes, and I assume he's only wanting 1 breaking news, so can't clear that off immediately. Do apologise about the glare, guys. So it's a hacktivist meeting. That's a knight and an account siphon incoming, which is going to get through. So 2 account siphons landed already. Some awesome aggression out of Max here. There's a Mumba Temple, which I'm pretty sure Ben's going to be super happy to see. I think he popped the toll booth down in that new remote. I don't know if you really want to be putting a Mumba Temple, no matter how much you want to keep it behind the toll booth. You might consider doing it though, because those 2 credits could be long-term incredibly rewarding for him. And yeah, it does look like he's done it. So installs, clicks for 2 credits. Let me see what looks like a Queen's Gambit and something else hit the bin there for Max. So DDoS in hand is a bit tricky when you're rocking 4 tags. He could pop it down and then just go running, but he probably wants to hold on to it until he has a keyhole or maybe another way to account siphon still available. Ben is going to yield a run here. Yeah, and the Mamba Temple's going to go down. So at least he cost 2 clicks, one to move the knight and the run from Daryl, and also the 3 credits to trash. So not a terrible swap around. And oh wow, the pad campaign's going to go as well. So I'm not sure if I really like this so much from Daryl. I almost feel like I'd like to see him dig a little bit harder for the pieces he needs to kind of start keyholing and start applying more pressure. Oh, there is the keyhole, wow. If he starts playing the asset game, this account siphon economy that he has sort of built up isn't going to last that long. He is on, I think, what's that? 14 credits. And meanwhile, Ben is just clicking for 3 credits. So the momentum's still very much with Daryl here. Money, not a big concern. In his hand, looks like still day job, sure gamble. And here we go, keyhole. And that's still a hacktivist meeting down alongside that. Do apologise for the glare in this one, guys. Didn't realise it was quite so bad. There is D-Dot. Oh! Okay, decides to draw and Season Eater, and that's an instant install. The countered Eater in hand, which is wraparound, but with Knight, it's not going to be too much of a concern for Daryl. That 15 minutes, it was pulled off a draw there, but I imagine Ben will probably pop that sometime soon to deal with the hacktivist meeting, I imagine. So an interestingly tense situation here. Daryl could be about to just start piling on tons of keyhole pressure. And no Jackson currently on the table. I'm going to do install symbol thing. 2 and 3 is going to be account siphon. The Eater is going to make sure this lands pretty much no matter what this res is. Toll booth! Oh, ow! Wow, so Daryl is looking like he's going to pay through it. He is indeed. So 7 credits there. But no credits to account siphon because Ben sort of blew everything. I think that was a bit of a misplay there. I'm not sure Daryl quite realised that he had no credits left in hand and obviously couldn't access because he used Eater. So I think Daryl ended up spending 4 credits he didn't need to. Keyhole's landing now though, because no credits, so clearly no pop-up windows. A little bit of financial recovery for Ben. Doesn't get to install the 15 minutes and get it scored out this turn. He's just going to take 3 credits and probably drop maybe a shipment. I think that's, yeah, what probably went there. Could have installed the 15 minutes and actually shipmented it, but it needed to get that money back to potentially res the wraparound and stop 4 clicks of keyhole. Yeah, and Daryl's response of just day jobbing there was pretty solid. Oh, but Ben getting the sweep sweep is going to bring him right back up into contention. I love this. Meanwhile, Daryl's sitting with a deja vu in hand, but that toll booth really negates any financial benefit for him from account siphons. It doesn't stop him still taking 5 credits off Ben, though. And Ben doing a pretty solid job here of just weathering the storm. So I do think that was a toll booth that is currently knighted. So having a couple of toll booths really working out for me. He only does run 2 in the deck. So I must admit, Max is not a runner I play very often here. But I feel like if you're taxing her hard enough to get into your servers with account siphons and keyholes, she's going to eventually run out of momentum. The deja vu is going to bring up an account siphon, so Daryl is going to look to do it. He's going to utilise the knight. Okay, so he's paying basically 3 credits plus 2 for the break, so 5 credits to get in, getting 10 back, so a 5 win for him. Doesn't care about the tags, and then that takes 5 off Ben. So yeah, pretty solid. You have to spend 2 credits for the deja vu as well, but that's give him a little burst of economy again. I think think Ben's been kind of lucky that he's not ended up getting a little bit flooded here, but Daryl doesn't seem interested in running HQ and actually accessing anything currently. I feel like Daryl's really thinking about that DDoS and thinking about when to kind of pull the trigger on it. I don't think he wants to let Ben get a lot of ice res over R&D before he's able to get in with a few consecutive keyhole runs. Last click, he is going to keyhole though. Wraparound's going to pop up, and that's going to put an end to that, and that's given Knight another target. So just in case you missed it, that very shiny card near us there is Hacktivist Meeting, and we also have Keyhole and Eater on the table alongside the Knight. 3 credits for Ben. Content to just kind of slowly plod along. I think does he have to drop a card? I think he does. No, still has 5. Oh, we same old thing being delivered. Click 1, Knight's going to come across. Click 2. We're going to break through for the keyhole. Oh, ho, 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 my lord, a swordsman. And right now, there is no way for that to be broken. Eater and Knight both going to fail at getting through swordsman. And Eater's going to get a hit. Daryl is still going to get through. Swordsman doesn't end the run. It's just going to be a net damage and an AI program trash. The net damage is going to hit DDoS. Oh my word, that Daryl was kind of mulling over for quite some time. And the keyhole is going to show. This is when I click 2. Oh, global food. Yeah. Daryl could go in again, but if he does, he'll lose the Knight. So probably not the best call. 3rd click, he's just going to go and pick up that global food. So wow, like I must commend Ben on his ice placement here, and holding on to that swordsman until a really kind of key moment was awesome. Okay, so just last click credit for Daryl, and oh wow, there was another global food on top of the deck after the keyhole. So Ben on 4 credits really needs to start doing something. Does he spend 2 credits here and then just drop a card, or does he use his shipment? Wow, no, he just installs. I think that was the 15 minutes he installed actually, and then took 2 credits. Karura hits the bin, something I'm pretty sure Daryl's not going to be happy about. Does he have a retrieval run at hand? Doesn't look like it. So click 1, and we're probably going to see money taken back from this almost immediately, I imagine. Yeah. Yeah, so click 1, install liberated. 2, 3, and 4, all going to be to take money for it, leaving just 4 credits on it. Really takes the benefit of trashing it away from the corp there. Oh, but yeah, Ben is going to trash it. So, I mean, if you think about that, that's 6 to install for Daryl, and he then takes 3 clicks, so it's giving him 12. So he's got 6 credits off 4 clicks. So trashing it again and preventing a further 4 credits is maybe not the worst. I actually quite like that from Ben. I think if he didn't get the hedge fund, he might have thought differently, but getting the hedge fund hit is pretty solid. Oh no, retrieval run hits the bin. Did he draw into another one though? Oh wow, paying a full 9 credits for Fem and popping it straight onto that toll booth. I love this. We're going to go keyholing through. Fem's going to allow Swordsman now to be beaten. He had to pay for this the hard way, but it's going to reward him with an Astro, and oh my word, Daryl is alive and kicking. He's going to get the Astro as well. No Jackson Hard shown. Wow, 4-0 for Daryl. Now the question just is, can Ben solidify? There's a Jackson. So that Jackson's going to let him shuffle back this global food and potentially any cards that get keyholed all of a sudden his HQ has gone from being the safest server to the most vulnerable for just 1 credit for Fem to bypass. And I do think that's a 15 minutes just sitting on the table completely undefended. Oh, double deja vu hit the bin. That's really unlucky for Daryl, actually. I think he really would have liked those recursions. So just to remind us, we've got Fem, Keyhole, Knight, and then the other shiny, very blocked out card is Hacktivist Meeting. And oh my god, Daryl just triple advanced the 15 minutes with a Queen's Gambit. Oh my word. 6 cards left in Daryl's deck. I think there's still an account 7 amongst them. Turntable Eater Retrieval Run. That's much more like it. 4th plate's going to be Keyhole. And that's going to show nothing really. The Wraparound will hit the bin though. And yeah, this is where losing both those Deja Vus is so brutal. But I think he has a Retrieval in hand, which means he could get the Corroder back if he really wanted it. Knight getting through Wraparound for 2 credits really isn't that bad. But once his deck is done, Ben could just start overwriting ice. So I think that's an agenda, and it is. Fantastic. It's the first time I've ever seen an agenda scored off the back of a Queen's Gambit, and it did sit there for quite a few turns. Oh, and here we go. MBN doing MBN things. Is the Astro going to come down? It is indeed. And we have an Astro with a counter live on the board now. So I think it says Sansan City Grid protected by a toll booth and then a Jackson in the outer remote. And Daryl is now playing with the cards he's got. So even if he triple keyholes here, the Jackson's going to prevent him doing anything long term. Trying to see what's in his hand. Is he seeing what he can recur? I think he has a Retrieval Run, which he does, but no other way to recur any events or account siphons. Sees a Jackson, which he bins. And Ben, who has just held out really kind of well here with very limited resources, just now needs to hang on a little bit longer, and it could get to the point that Daryl's going to be clicking for credits to break in. So 2, we're going to keyhole again. And all this is really kind of for nothing because of the Jackson. Oh, Jackson Astro choice. Is Daryl going to choose the Jackson?
Still nothing.
No. Chooses the Astro. Jackson was on the table. I think Daryl realizes that that's a pretty horrendous kick in the teeth for him. On Ben's side, he's going to sweep. Oh.
Currently 6. Shouldn't be 5.
Wow, sweet Astro. Quite surprised he didn't bring back another Jackson there. I think him realizing how important the economy is to him and how important it is putting cards in that can't be trashed. But must admit now, I feel like having the second Jackson back in deck would be a little bit way to kind of secure this keyhole pressure.
Astro sweeps 3. Astro sweeps 3.
And Ben just needs to see a 3 for 2 here. Tight on cash, I think he's on 4 credits. Mamba Temple's not going to hugely help, but if he does Mamba and Pad campaign, it's going to help him in the long term. Which is, I think, what he's going to do. And takes a credit. And Daryl is left 4 credits to get in per keyhole run and is sitting on 1 credit. I don't think any amount of looking at the hand's really going to do it. He just takes 4. And Mamba Temple's going to allow a cheap pad campaign to come into play. praying for an Astro, sees an Archangel, which actually is an incredibly brutal ice. Like, if that goes in front of R&D right now, I don't think Daryl has any way to deal with it. He can't move the knight back and forward. Oh, it looks like it has. And Daryl's got to maybe wonder, you know, why he didn't just overwrite the wraparound to get rid of the knight and basically remove it from the game. But actually, this is a crazy good play from Ben. He could end up just bouncing these cards back to hand. Daryl does have another knight though, but doesn't have the memory to play it until he pops down that turntable. Now he could retrieve a run for, I believe he has a second fem. Yes, he has a second fem in the bin that he could retrieve a run for and really make a last ditch effort. Really tough position for Daryl. Wow, and he's going to run into the Archangel. That's just brutal. It's going to bounce the knight and end that keyhole run. And in having to install these cards again is just such a delay and financial gain to Daryl. Gonna retrieve a run. Is it gonna be a fem? Nope, it's gonna be the corroder. Okay, so the knight can deal with the Archangel and the corroder can now deal with the wraparound. I like this. We're going to see an Astro script off the top. A Beal. Oh, this is interesting. Does Ben want to just score this Beal and get it out of his hand? Knowing how vulnerable his HQ is and how poor Daryl is, Daryl could start running in, femming that toll booth and just hitting HQ any second. Oh, Daryl actually realised he doesn't actually have the memory to install the way he just did. Wow, a second misplay from Daryl. And yeah, I did just mention the turntable and how you would need to install that. I didn't even realise that myself. That keyhole, of course, being 2, the fem and corroder now all that's left. Does have another knight in hand though, but it means it's going to take him just a little bit longer to get ready to go in and keyhole again. That Archangel just proving to be a real nightmare for Daryl. So install, advance, and Astro counter. Going to come in and secure the Beal, putting us to 5-4. And now it's just a matter of credits for Ben. And it's a matter of credits for Daryl, really, if I'm honest. Takes 4 credits, passes back. Pad campaign continues doing what it does. There's a Beal, but we don't have the credits to fast advance it out. I don't believe, even with the shipment. So takes 3 credits, passes back, and that puts him on the win next turn. Biotic for 4, advance once for 5 credits, and then double advance with the shipment from Sam's hand, and that will do it. Is Daryl going to go and check HQ this turn? He hasn't checked HQ, I don't believe, a single time during the game, actually. And right now, there's a bunch of agendas in there. He would need the Beal, though. I don't feel like the keyhole. He's maybe got a bit single track minded here on the keyhole. Turntable's coming down. And every click that's not a run in HQ, Ben is probably breathing a sigh of relief. And the turn's going to get passed back to him, and I think that's it. I'm pretty sure Ben is going to see this. Just pauses for a second to have a quick look at the board. does res the Sansan, which works out pretty much the same whenever you're using the Mumba Temple to save yourself the credits.
Did you just draw?
And yeah, there we go. That's going to do it. Daryl asking, did you just draw it? But no, it was in his hand with a couple of other agendas for a while there. And what a tight game. Daryl with so much early aggression, very unlucky with some mills. Ben does actually show him the other agendas there. And that's Ben through to the grand final, and Daryl's going to drop down to the lower bracket. And guys, you can follow along into the lower bracket, last four on the right hand side if you'd like to, as we follow those guys on their quest back to the grand final. Thanks so much as ever for watching.